Hello everybody and welcome to Just Football, as I'm bringing the latest on the situation of Percy Tau. Now if you're new on Just Football, kindly click on the subscribe button as we upload similar content every week. Now let's get on with the video. Now first, I want to start by congratulating Percy Tau as he has secured his first Egyptian Premier League title and his sixth trophy since joining Ahly. Now this means Percy Tau has won almost every tournament that he could have won with Ahly. Now what is next for Percy Tau? Percy Tau has been linked with a move to Burnley. Now this is no coincidence that the link between Percy Tau and Burnley came just a weekend before he secured his first Premier League trophy in Egypt. Now this is what is happening currently. Now the link with Burnley is a very concrete one, because Vincent Kompany is a big admirer of the player. That is no secret. But what is happening now, the decision will have to be made between Percy Tau and Ahly before the player goes on a holiday. Now before he goes on a holiday, he will have to make a decision, because Ahly, we know they've been negotiating with Percy Tau on a new contract which will see him become one of the best paid players in their league. But now what is happening, they have to make a decision. Percy Tau has to decide whether he wants to remain with Ahly. But now the situation is different, because Percy Tau has won almost every trophy that was possible to win with Egyptian giants Ahly. He has won the Egyptian Premier League, he has won the CAF Confederations Cup, he has won the Egyptian Cup, he has won the CAF Super Cup, he has also won the Egyptian Super Cup. So what else can he win? And there are many doubts on whether or not Ahly can win the Club World Cup. So that is out of the question. So at the moment, Percy Tau, he's an accomplished player in Egypt. So what is next for Percy Tau? It looks like a move to Burnley may be on the cards. So I just wanted to talk about this link in depth. Now what is happening now? We know Steve Kompany would like to have all his players for the pre-season tour, but that does not look like it would happen if they were to sign Percy Tau. He would be joining them in around August, because right now he has to go on a holiday because the Egyptian Premier League ends late. So what is happening is that Percy Tau will have to make a decision. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Percy Tau, what do you think Percy Tau should be doing? Now, this is my opinion on the situation of Percy Tau. Now, what is happening? Percy Tau is 29 years old. His contract with Ahly is coming to an end on the 30th of June 2024. So, which means Percy Tau, at the age of 29, we're expecting that he will be signing his last big contract. So with this last big contract, this is a big decision for Percy Tau, which is why that contract that has been offered to him by Ahly, it has been there for over a month now. The negotiations have been ongoing because Percy Tau is aware that this could be his last big contract. How many good years does he have on his on his peak? I mean, I think at the age of 29, maybe he can play at his peak until the age of 33. So I think 4 years. He's left with 4 years, most probably at the top of his game. So he has to make a good decision on his last big contract. So the Percy Tau, it is not going to be an easy situation at the moment. I think on the side of Percy Tau, they have to wait a little bit and see which teams are coming in with offers and which contract offer will be the best. I think at the moment it will come down to money. Percy Tau will be looking to make a lot more money before he will retire, or before he start taking huge pay cuts in order to continue playing football. So in the coming few years, we know Percy Tau will have to take a pay cut in order to continue playing football. This happened even with some of the biggest players in the game. So Percy Tau is aware of that, so which is why they will have to take their time in making a decision. So I think a move to the Premier League would be very good, because I think in the Premier League he would earn a lot more, which will make his life a lot easier in the future. We know this is something that has been happening in around South Africa, that most of our players, that they live very good lives while they're still playing, and after they retire they tend to struggle. So in order to avoid that, Percy Tau will have to make a good decision on his last big contract. The other thing that I want to talk about is the risk of joining the Premier League. We know the Premier League is the best league in the world. So whether or not Percy Tau will make the cut, like we know he failed before with Brighton over Albion. So now whether or not he will get the playtime that he requires at his peak with Burnley, it's another question. So what is happening we've seen Lyle Foster. He has played a few games. He has played around 11 games since joining Burnley, and that was in the Championship. So how many games do you think Lyle Foster will play for Burnley in the Premier League? I think he may play a lot less than that, because the Premier League is more intense, it's faster, and it requires players with good technical ability. So, but Percy Tau, I think technically he's a good player, but whether or not this time he will do well in the Premier League is another question. Percy Tau will have to consider too many factors. Now, the risk of joining Burnley is that he can join Burnley and flop again, which will mean he will return again as someone who's has failed. He returned to Al Ahly. So we know Percy Tau, when he returned to Africa with Al Ahly, he had returned at his lowest. So at the moment, I think Percy Tau has a lot to consider. So taking that Al Ahly contract may not be so bad after all for Percy Tau, because he's coming to the end of his career. So 29 years old, he's coming to the end of his career. So I don't think taking that offer with Al Ahly can be such a bad idea, and we know Al Ahly are very desperate to keep Percy Tau. So the negotiations are ongoing with Al Ahly, but a decision will have to be made in the coming few days. Now their season is over, so now talks will continue. They have to decide whether or not they will listen to offers for Percy Tau, and if they do not listen to offers for Percy Tau, they may see themselves losing Percy Tau on the free next season if Percy Tau does not commit. So I think Al Ahly, they will wait for Percy Tau to decide whether he's committing or not. So if Percy Tau is not committing, Al Ahly will probably sell him. Again, Percy Tau has a big decision to make. I repeat, he has a big decision to make. Going to the Premier League has its own benefits and its own risks, just like remaining at Al Ahly has its own also risks and rewards, because we've seen Percy Tau struggle at Al Ahly before. Right now, this season, I think he was one of their standout players, but that does not mean he's going to be one of their standout players next season. I'm not saying Percy Tau will fall off, but I'm just saying in football these things happen. So at the moment, every decision has a risk and a reward, but going to the Premier League would guarantee him a lot more money, but also it may cost him his career. It may mean that Percy Tau will have to return to South Africa or to Africa again as someone who has fallen from form, who's out of form, someone who is not that in demand. So right now, at the age of 29, the last big contract, what do you think Percy Tau should be doing? I've given my opinion on the matter. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to money. So I think Percy Tau, if Burnley do come in with a big offer, I think Percy Tau should go and join Burnley in the Premier League for next season. So whether or not he succeeds, I don't think it matters. For me, at the moment, I don't think it matters. But for a footballer, it would matter, because he would want to make his mark, he wants to make history. So, but if we look at it in a life type of situation, I think it would be the best situation to join the Premier League. So even if he goes there and he flops, but he would have made his money for retirement. For a player like Percy Tau, right now, I think he must be thinking about when he's going to retire. He's 29, I know, but you have to think about the future. So I'm sure Percy Tau is thinking about that as well. Now, thank you very much for watching. Give me your opinion on the matter. Click a like on the video and subscribe if you're a new visitor.